Morning, YouTube. Um, yeah, I just woke up. I'm eating breakfast, but I'm doing this video, and I could care less about being appropriate. You know, I'm talking to you as if I'm talking to y'all realistically, bumping into anybody on a day-to-day basis. You know, people who make these videos are all about their presentation and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. Fuck that bullshit. But the purpose of me making this video, because someone said, you've been awfully quiet about the coronavirus. You don't really speak on it too much. I don't try to get ahead of myself on many things. Some things I do, and I fuck up on, because sometimes I see things or hear things and observe things, and part of me reacts based on emotion. Other things, I take the time out to sit back, let all the information come out, assess it, get all the details intact, and then I give my point of view on it. With this coronavirus shit, I pick apart a lot of stuff. And a lot of things people who know of what I'm about to say or recognize some of the examples and details would agree with me. Others would be like, oh, well, you're one of those people, huh? Before you get ahead of yourself, just hear what I have to say. Aside from balancing the scales and trying to practice that, my father always taught me growing up, pay very close attention to detail. Because if you don't, there could be a piece of information that's detrimental to or key, and you might miss it if you're distracted. Growing up, when parents tell you things, it doesn't resonate too well because already you're growing up and you're observing a lot and you're distracted. So, but when you grow older, you take a moment and you start to calm down and you start to assess things. Well, in reference to the coronavirus, America was made aware of it, January, February or so, whatever. And the finger pointed to China, okay? And all the conspiracies behind that. It was like a biological weapon, this, that, and everything else. And the way America handled it was whatever. And now you hear American people getting upset. Some, like when it comes to the PPE and the regulations and the guidelines and the suggestions and how to deal with the coronavirus. People are split on that because people don't know what to believe, what's facts, what's fiction. Is the information being provided something that we could take at face value? Because we all know information given to us isn't always factual. They tell us one thing and then 2 days or 3 days later it's something else. So it's just like we're given misinformation. So rightfully so, there are people who are skeptical. They don't know what to believe because people aren't forthcoming and truthful about the things that they tell us. Now, we're now in November. The economy got fucked off. People lost their jobs. Some people haven't recovered. People are losing their homes, being evicted, trying to figure out where the next meal is coming from. Families are torn apart, financial crisis. And when you're looking at other areas and you're seeing how they're doing and how they're handling the crisis, I don't care how people may take what I'm about to say, but America is a fucking joke. It's like, it's all about the parties, fuck the people. The people have been taking care of these politicians and stuff for some time now. And they got so comfortable where they feel like now they're overseers of us, dictators to us. What is in our best interest is what they deem fit. Fuck you. And then when people say don't talk about overthrowing the government and stuff, it comes a point in time. It comes a point in time where, and I'm gonna use this example piggybacking off of what my girlfriend said. There comes a point in time where if you're a child in an abusive home and you're somebody on the outside looking at what the hell is transpiring, you see these kids, going to school with bruises and stuff like that, and they're not being taken care of, and their health is diminishing, and the powers that be, which is the parents, aren't doing what the fuck they supposed to. So the person that's being neglected is the child. So what's the next step that occurs? DCF comes in and pulls that child out of a dangerous situation. America is that parent and we are the children. They are neglecting us. They give zero fucks about our well-being. All it is what's going into their pockets. They're sitting there going back and forth about the Republicans not doing this, the Democrats not doing that, this, that, and yada, yada, yada. Meanwhile, everybody else is being taken care of. You don't hear no political jargon in China, Canada, Russia, Germany, or all these other European countries and stuff. You don't hear no political excuses as to why they're not taking care of their people. But when it comes to America, who could take care of every fucking body else, tends to neglect itself. But hey, we got to stay focused on the coronavirus. We got to get ahead of this thing. Now, getting back to the point of me bringing up what my father said about paying attention to detail. Okay? We're talking about all these cases of the coronavirus getting worse and worse and worse here in this country. Right? Okay? But if where the virus originated from, which was said to be China, why is it that we don't hear anything about China and what's going on over there? Or if what's going on here in America and as to how bad it's getting here, you don't hear anything about if it's getting worse over there in China or anywhere else. Only in America. Find that kind of fucking interesting and funny. Then they want to tell you that they're gonna start mandating stuff and forcing people to take vaccines, and you gotta follow these guidelines to wear masks, and then they want to say if you don't follow certain rules and guidelines, you're gonna okay. So America's logic is this: you get these people in power, these governors, these mayors, or city officials, or whatever, right? And if you don't wear a mask, which they have said does not do shit to prevent you from getting the fucking coronavirus, they're going to find you and possibly put you in jail in some areas or demographics here in this fucking country. Explain to me the logic behind that. You got people who probably don't have a pot to piss in right now. Government ain't helping out whatsoever because, they're holding us hostage in regards to their negotiations and shit. But you want to penalize people for not wearing a mask or whatever, because they say, if you don't wear a mask, you're endangering somebody else. But then 9 times out of 10, you see most of these people who are trying to force these fucking policies and shit ain't following these policies them damn selves. Being hypocrites to the shit, the orders that they're giving you to follow. And I tell people, don't sit there and rally and root behind this country talking about this is the land of the free. Because that's a bunch of bullshit. If you still are conditioned to believe that bullshit, you are fucking ignorant and dumb and stupid. You're sitting here rallying and fucking rooting and chanting a slogan and shit that has no meaning or purpose behind it. Not in today's age, it doesn't. Maybe way back in, whatever, it might have been true. But as we sit currently, fuck no. Like I've always said, this is the land of the fee. You know, what they can do to extort money from you. Land of the fee, home of the restricted. You're limited to the amount of shit that you can do here in this country. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. Things that you were able to do 30, 40, 50 years ago without it having some kind of repercussions or penalty placed against you. Now, you try to do shit that you did back then nowadays and see what kind of trouble you get into. But people want to keep saying, oh, you know, we got freedoms and stuff that other people don't have. Other people looking at you like, what are you talking about? You get in trouble for this shit. We don't. Oh, they tax the shit out of you for this. We don't get taxed on that. You need to start paying attention because they trying to pull the wool over your eyes so you could be blind and shit and just go through life with blinders on, not seeing shit for what it is. This corona's mess, this situation here, they're showing you America's attitude, number one, how they're handling it. And don't get me started on the target base. Because people want to sit there and talk about conspiracy theories. No, it's not conspiracy theories. Because when you're looking at the media, when you're looking at the news, who grabs your attention so you can be focused and attentive to see and hear what's going on, you got these people, the first thing they want to sit there and say is, well, the black community have major health issues, so we're going to go after them first. They're going to be the guinea pigs of the vaccines. And people say, oh, you're over-exaggerating. Go back and look at the target base of who these vaccines are being pushed on. You don't hear about them talking about the vaccines are going to Beverly Hills, Hollywood, or all these other areas, or to this particular demographics. No, they're targeting minorities. And I tell people, be very skeptical. And people say, well, they can't force you to, well, you know, they're talking about forcing you. And if you don't, what are they going to say? They're going to sit there, just like someone said a perfect example. They can say, well, you had a choice not to take the vaccine, but if you don't take the vaccine, here's what's going to happen. If you decide not to have your kids vaccinated or whatever with the corona vaccine or whatever, they can't go to school. If you don't get vaccinated, you can't return to work. It's that way that they get you to not force you, but make it to where if you don't do something that they tell you to do, it's going to be some kind of way that hinders you from moving forward in life. And they're very calculated in how they do it. And people who look at the strategy behind that shit, it's like, and why people who pay attention, especially black people, because we fell for the fucking okie doke with the Tuskegee experiment. When they infected black people with syphilis. And what did they do to ease our pain? And I said it before. Black people already, in some areas, do not trust white people. And I'm sorry to say this, but when it comes to these situations, they are very skeptical of the government and they do not trust white people because they're looking at the alternative motive. And rightfully so. Because number one, we are the target base for every fucking thing that happens in this country. And then when we see, oh, okay, you know, they survived this bullshit. Okay, everybody else, it's cool to take the vaccine. I mean, people who are rich don't have to worry about that shit. It don't affect them anyway. They could tell you, fuck off. They ain't taking the vaccine. You ain't hindering them financially. Think about that. Think about that shit. Okay? The Tuskegee experiment. Now, they had this, I was watching this other person's channel, and they had this lady who was a doctor, and she gave this story about how her dad had COVID, but when he went in the hospital for something else, right? And he was there for some time, but then he had whatever little complications. But then while he was in the hospital, he caught COVID. Pay attention. This is what the guy said. He said it. Pay attention. He said he went into the hospital. He didn't have COVID. During his stay at the hospital, he caught COVID. Dealt with complications. Died. So you go into a facility to get treatment only to contract something, only to not make it out that motherfucker. And she said, oh yeah, I took 2 shots of the vaccine or whatever, and the first shot that I took made me feel some kind of way, and yada yada yada. Then the second shot that I took, oh man, it took me like 36 to 42 hours to recover. Now, there was another video prior to me seeing this, and I linked it to my girlfriend's messenger. The black dude, he got the vaccine. This fucker's tongue was hanging out and swollen. Other black dude. I'm sitting there like, you're trying to push something on people, and just like everybody's different, everybody's chemical makeup is different. You put something into somebody and you don't know how this vaccine is going to react to their chemical makeup, and it could cause them instant. So if these people take a vaccine, I'm sure to cover your asses, this is what the fuck you're going to do. You're going to make somebody fucking sign a waiver to say, if there's any thing that happens in regards to you taking this vaccine, we are clear of any wrongdoing, any malpractice. So, in a sense, you're going to force somebody to take something that you're not 100% sure is not going to have any deadly side effects. But if we don't take it, we're going to face some kind of fucking punishment. What kind of option is that? Most people are like, well, fuck that. I take my chances with the coronavirus. There's a chance I might recover without taking a fucking vaccine. Versus you putting something in my arm or some shit and causing me to fucking die. There's a reason why people don't trust fucking Americans or America's ideology when it comes to like medicine and shit like that. And then you're seeing shit about how there's still medicine coming in from China. Yeah. And then here's the trip. When everything is put on the fucking table for you to look at, question, and be like, what's really going on? People get mad at you because you ain't stupid to question shit. I mean, you ain't stupid enough to not question shit. It's like you just supposed to be like, oh, you telling me this? Okay. Oh, you said this is good for me? Okay. Oh, you know what's best for me? Okay. Just because you said it, I'm supposed to believe it? Okay. Like you want to us walk around here, just go along just to get along. It doesn't work like that. But some people, they have done convinced that, hey, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. Now you done brought the fear factor out. No. Well, I said I'll be going off on a fucking tangent, but you can break apart what I'm saying and see for yourself. You don't have to believe what I say. You don't even have to take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm just making you aware of shit that you need to pay attention to the hustle and see that these people really don't have your best interests at hand. I said it before. They came out with a vaccine in less than a fucking year, which usually take 2 years through a trial to know what's good and what's bad and to work out the kinks. These people for some time in the medical field couldn't come up with cures for shit. I'm 44 years old. AIDS been out for how long? Now all of a sudden you mean to tell me that you guys put your brains together and could come up with a vaccine in less than a year for the coronavirus that just hit this country? Some things you guys need to pay attention to and question. I'm just saying. But until next time, until next video, peace.